So this is a 𝐁𝐋𝐿 Limited. It's a decision tree question. It's a decision tree question. Very interesting question. So, and I would want us first of all to try the question ourselves and see if it was an exam, how far would have we gone with this question, ladies and gentlemen? We are told question 5C, it's May 2021. Question number 5C, 𝐁𝐋𝐿 Limited wishes to design a new product so as to catch the interest of their target market, which is currently very competitive. The company will have to invest how much? 100,000 at the beginning of the first year, which is year 0 for the design and model testing of the new product. The company's marketing manager believes that there is an 80% chance that this phase will be successful and the project will continue. If phase 1 is not successful, the project will be abandoned with a 0 salvage value. The next phase, if undertaken, would consist of making the molds and producing 10 prototype product at a cost of ⁻500,000 at the end of the first year. If the product tests well, the company would go into full-scale production. If they do not, the molds and prototypes will all be sold for 400. The manager estimates that there is a 90% probability that the product will pass testing and phase 3 will be undertaken. Phase 3 consists of changing over the firm's current production line so as to be able to produce the new products. This will cost $1 million at the end of year 2. If the economic conditions are favorable at this juncture, the net value of the firm's cash flows are estimated to be 3.5 million. While if the economic conditions are unfavorable, the net cash inflows are estimated at 2.5 million. Both net cash flows are expected at the end of year 3, and the two states of economy are equally likely. So the firm's opportunity cost of capital is 11%. So basically, they are giving us the COC, the cost of capital. So they want us to construct a decision tree to depict payoffs and hence determine the expected net present value of the project. I'm so sure there must be somebody saying, Mwalimu, attack that question straight away. Attack that question straight away. And I'm saying no. I would want to give you how many minutes? 10 minutes. We see whether you guys are at a good position of trying to draw something here, however small. However small. However small. Let's see whether we shall be able to draw something. 10 minutes exactly. And of course, for the students who will be watching this video later on, I also expect you guys to do what you to post the video and take the 10 minutes to do this as an exercise. Even if you don't get it, so what? Great. So I believe, ladies and gentlemen, that you have attempted it, and now Mwalimu should be able to do what here to simply finish it off. Yeah. So what are we told here? 𝐁𝐋𝐿 Limited wishes to design a new product so as to catch the interest of their target market, which is currently very competitive. The company will have to invest ⁻100,000 at the beginning of the first year, which is year 0 for the design and the model testing of the new product. The company's marketing manager believes that there is an 80% chance that this phase will be successful and the project will continue. If phase 1 is not successful, the project will be abandoned with 0 salvage value. The next phase, if undertaken, ladies and gentlemen, if I could just capture the first phase. If I could capture the first phase, what are they telling us there really? What are they telling us there really, ladies and gentlemen? So, ladies and gentlemen, this is what they're telling us there. That this company wants to get into some investment decision. And how do they enter into this investment decision? Don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, that basically we have got 2 nodes in decision trees. We have a box node. A box node, this is what we call a decision node. A decision node. This is what we call a decision node. And then we have a circle node, which is what here somebody, a chances node, right? Chances or a states of nature node. So if you remember the states of nature node, this is the one that carries the probabilistic events, the one that carries the probabilistic what? All events in this case here which have probabilities will always be emanating, will always be coming out of a circle to signify what is slippery. You know, probabilistic events can go either way. Probabilistic events can go either way. So, ladies and gentlemen, have you been able to put this down? Have you been able to put this down? Have you been able to at least capture this down in your notes there? Ah, great. So then I'll come and rub this very fast, and then we knock this thing. So the very first thing that you do in AFM is to make an investment decision. So an investment decision, we make decisions in a box. So here it is either, ladies and gentlemen, we decide to invest as usual, or we don't invest. But our investing decision here is quite an interesting one. Our investing decision is the one of making a decision, or rather, basically subjecting this entire thing into a test. We are subjecting this entire thing into a test. And should I give you a test, ladies and gentlemen, there will be two possibilities, slippery possibilities. Slippery possibilities. It is either you pass or you do what? You fail. But you see, this examiner has given us a language to use for the outcome, test outcome. He has told us to use this language here. He has told us that the company's marketing manager believes that there is an 80% chance that this phase will be successful and the project will continue. If phase one is not successful, the project will be abandoned with zero salvage value. So listen to me very well. This test, we could either succeed or fail. So we have here succeed or do what here somebody or fail, right? And if we fail, what have they told us? That we shall be able to sell them without what here really realizing anything much. We're not going to realize anything whatsoever. That's what they've told us. They've told us here, ladies and gentlemen, look at this. That the company's marketing manager believes that there is an 80% chance that this phase will be successful and the project will continue. If phase one is not successful, then the project will be scrapped or abandoned with zero salvage value. So we have got 80% and 20%. So they have told us that the marketing manager believes that there is an 80% chance that this phase will be what here will be successful. So look at this. These are events which are coming from a circle, which are to bring out from a circle, because the events here are what here? They are probabilistic. The events are probabilistic. And what is the probability of succeeding, ladies and gentlemen, if you could help me? They've told us the probability of succeeding is 0. The probability of succeeding is 0.8. Thank you very much. Then what is the probability of failing here? What is the probability of failing? The two must add up to 1. So this must be 0.2. Now, if we succeed, what have they told us? If we succeed, what have they told us? If we succeed, look at this. They've told us the next phase, if undertaken now here, would consist of making the molds and producing 10 prototype products at a cost of 500,000 at the end of the first year. If the products test well, the company would go into full-scale production. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, they've told us here that if we succeed in this, then straight away we shall make the molds. So basically, I should not make a decision here like a box there, because if I succeed, I've already decided to do what here? To mold this, to make the molds. So it's like succeed and make molds. So then I'm supposed in this case here to look at what happens after making the molds. So after making the molds, I can see two events there, which are what here? Which are probabilistic. So here I wish my circle was to be very big, and then inside the circle, I can write there something that you guys can see. Make the molds. Make the molds. Here I did a test drive. I succeeded. And when I succeeded, what was I required to do? To make the molds. So now I'm making the molds there. Why am I capturing this process of making molds, ladies and gentlemen, in form of a circle? That circle is basically premised on the concept of what we are told here, that the next phase, if undertaken, would consist of making the molds and producing 10 prototype products at a cost of 500. Let's capture this cost of 500. Let's capture this cost of 500. So the cost of 500 making the molds is 500. I'll put this in bracket. And that reminds me that the testing cost has to be put. Is there someone who can remember the testing cost from our book, from our test paper? Is there somebody who can remember, ladies and gentlemen? Is there somebody who can remember, ladies and gentlemen, the cost of testing here? The cost of testing. The company will have to invest 100,000, right, for design and model testing. So 100,000. I want to capture my figures in thousands. So this is what here, somebody, this is 100 there. Great. So I was trying to answer, why am I capturing these in the form of a circle? Can somebody try? In this case, you're telling me, why do you think am I capturing this in form of a circle? It's because the events which are coming after it are probabilistic. They are what here? They are slippery. So what have they told us, ladies and gentlemen? What they've told us in the question, what they've told us here in the question, what they've told us here in the question is this: that the next phase, if undertaken, would consist of making the molds and the prototype, producing 10 prototype products at a cost of 500 at the end of the first year. Remember, they never told us 500 each. If they told us 500 each, then I would have multiplied to get the total cost. Here it is the 10 prototype products here that will cost 500 in total. If the product in this case here tests well, the company would go into full scale production. If they do not, the molds and prototypes will all be sold for 400,000. The manager estimates that there is a 90% probability that the product will pass, testing, and the phase 3 will be undertaken. Ladies and gentlemen, the molds in this case here that we are doing here, the prototypes in this case here that we are doing here, ladies and gentlemen, there are two possibilities, and the two possibilities are probabilistic. They are probabilistic. That is why we are capturing them out of what here? Out of a circle. So the molds in this case here could either pass this phase, or they do what here? Somebody, they don't pass. They fail the test. So it's either they pass the test, Always use the language given by the examiner. Always use the language given by the examiner. Like now here he has told us that if the products test well, right? Test well. So it's about testing well. If they test well, the company will go into full-scale production. If they do not, the molds and the prototypes will all be sold for what here? So it is either these prototypes test well, or they test in this case here otherwise. So in this case, it's important to use the language used by the examiner. So they could either test well or test bad. That's basically failing. And if they fail, what have they told us? If they fail, if these prototypes fail, what have they told us? If they fail, what have they told us? If they fail, what have they told us? If they happen to fail, please talk to me. If they happen to fail, we abandon, isn't it? If they fail here, we abandon. Not abandoning per se, but we sell them at what amount? We sell them at what amount? Sold for 400. So in this case here, I can see 400 coming in. So this is an income. Don't put it in brackets. It's an income. It's an income. Which year do we expect this 400 to come to us? Of course, the 500 yet to be paid, they told us at the end of year 1. How about this 400? You know, it's a cash flow. It's very important for us to capture it, to capture its timing. Year number 2. Thank you very much. So this was end of year 1, end of year 1. Then this should be end of year what year? End of year 2, like that. This should be end of year 2, like that. End of year 2, end of year 2, end of year 2, end of year 2. Okay. Great. Now, ladies and gentlemen, from there, what are they telling us? From there, what are they telling us? From there, what are they telling us? They're telling us something nice there. If you proceed reading the question, this is what they are telling us. If the products test well, the company would go into full-scale production. If they do not, the molds and prototypes will all be sold at 400. The manager estimates that there is a 90% probability that the products will pass testing and that phase 3 will be undertaken. So there is, ladies and gentlemen, a 90% probability that these things will test well. So we have here testing well will be 0.9, and of course testing poorly will be 0.1 if you're following. Test poorly will be 0.1. Test poorly will be 0.1. If they test well, we shall not make any other decision apart from now going full scale production with this. Full scale production with this. So full scale production, what do we have here, ladies and gentlemen? Full scale production, this is what we have. They have told us here, phase 3 now, which is full scale production, consists of changing over the farm's current production line so as to be able to produce the new products. This will cost 1 million at the end of year 2. At the end of year 2. Great. So we are being told, ladies and gentlemen, if these molds, if this prototype, ladies and gentlemen, happen to be doing what here, if they test well, then we are going to full scale production. And if we go into full scale production, there would be some changes in our production line. And I can see some figure being floated there. How much will the investment into these new lines of production here be? How much will our investment be, somebody? 1 million, isn't it? Remember, our figures are in thousands. Don't forget that our figures are in thousands. So I'm capturing this in a circle. Why? Because of the ensuing events. There are 2 events which will ensue there, which are probabilistic. There are 2 events which will ensue there, which are probabilistic. They've told us, ladies and gentlemen, here, they've told us here that phase 3 consists of changing over the farm's current production line so as to be able to produce the new product. This will cost 1 million. In my case, it's 1,000 because I'm cutting the 3 zeros at the end of year 2. If you're keen, you must have realized that I'm having this 1,000 coinciding with the year 2. And remember, this is a cost. So it has to be put inside brackets. It must be put inside brackets. It must be put inside brackets like that. It must be put inside brackets like that. Great. Ladies and gentlemen, listen and listen to me very well. We have been told there, that if the economic conditions are favorable at this juncture, the net value of the farm's cash flows are estimated at 3.5 million. While if the economic conditions are unfavorable, the net cash inflows are estimated at 2.5 million. Both net cash flows are expected at the end of what year? Year 3. And the 2 states of economy are equally likely. So we have got economic states, 2 of them, and these economic states, ladies and gentlemen, are either favorable or unfavorable. And you can see that this examiner has given us probabilities. Are you able to see the probabilities yourselves? Are you able to see the probabilities yourselves? Are you able to see the probabilities? Yes. What is the probability of favorable? What is the probability of favorable? So they are equally likely, and because there are only 2, it will be 0.5 like that. What have they told us about the economy being favorable? If the economy is favorable, what is going to happen? If the economy is favorable, how much are we going to earn? If the economy is favorable, how much shall we earn? 3,500. Our figures are in thousands. If the economy is favorable, we shall earn 3,500. What if the economy is unfavorable? What if the economy is unfavorable? What if the economy is unfavorable? Hashem is telling me 2,500. If the economy is unfavorable, if the economy is unfavorable, they've told us here we shall earn only 2,500, like that. If the economy is unfavorable here, we shall earn 2,500, like that. Great. Ladies and gentlemen, of course, if we don't start the process at all, if we won't invest at all, we expect nothing other than a 0, not unless we are thieves. It's only thieves in this case here who reap without, ladies and gentlemen, sowing at all. As we know that if we don't invest, if we don't study, we know that we shall do what here? We shall fail. But the good thing is that some students really encouraged me. They told me, Mwalimu, you know what? As we have gotten leave today, and the good thing is that even if we start revising today, we shall still overcome. Do you also agree with those students? Do you also agree with those students that even if you start studying today, we shall overcome? That is the thing. So long as you don't procrastinate. When you say you'll wake up at 4 today, tomorrow that is, please ensure that you wake up at that time. No room for procrastination. Yes, you study smart. You study smart. Thank you so much. I'm starting tonight, yes, and you'll pass. Trust you me. Work smart, yes. Now, ladies and gentlemen, remember the first step is for us to do what here? Is for us to draw this tree and then come and give us the branches. Branch number 1, branch number 2. This is branch number 3. This is branch number 4. You don't have to label branch 5 because this is quite independent. And we know the final outcome. We know the final outcome. So for each branch, is there somebody who remembers for each branch what we're supposed to do? For each branch, is there somebody who remembers what we're supposed to do for each branch? Is there somebody who can remember what we're supposed to do for each branch? Tata ama uongo, uongo, uongo. Here for each branch, now we have to calculate, don't multiply the probabilities. This is not advanced MA, this is financial management. Financial management decision trees are quite different. For financial management, you have to, first of all, draw the tree. And then number 2, for each branch number, for each branch, come and give us branch 1, 2, 3, 4, give us the ensuing net present values first. Don't bring in probabilities. So for you to be able to give us net present values, then you would need PVIF. Is there somebody who can give me PVIF of 11% end of year 1? And then here PVIF 11% end of year 2. Do you know why I'm making use of 11%? Do you know why I'm making use of 11%? It's because 11% is the cost of capital that has been given. 11% is the cost of capital. Here it is. 11% is the COC. They've called it opportunity cost to confuse the easily confusable students. But my students are never easily confusable. They're not those people that you can really just throw off the road that easily. They'll stand and tell you no. They know that opportunity cost is the same as what your cost of capital. It's 11%. It's given here. Actually, this examiner was a good one. He even called it opportunity cost of capital. You should have just called it opportunity cost percentage or something different to throw some of the students offside. So if we have, ladies and gentlemen, tables, could you kindly give me this PVIF 11% year 1? What do we have? Can somebody talk to me tonight? PVIF. So Kate tells me it is 0.9009. 0.9009. 0.9009. Remember, even the students who are following us through YouTube, you don't need to really watch this thing or wherever, even if it's Vimeo. Don't watch this thing as if you are watching a Jack Knowles movie. No, get your calculator or get your tables and read for us. Read for us. Give us the things. Give us these figures on the comment section there. So PVIF, 11% 2 years. What do we have? 0.8116. 0.8116. 0.8116, like that. Thank you very much. So they are telling me that these figures are not right. They're telling me that these figures are not right. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, all students here, if 11% is found in our tables, don't compute. Always read from the tables. Always read from the tables. So remember, we have got 2 tables. We have the PVIF table and we have the PVIFA. PVIFA is for the annuities. These are figures, ladies and gentlemen, which will keep on doing what you're fluctuating, you can see. So this is supposed to be the PVIF table. PVIF table. So they're telling me that these figures are correct. So the question is, are we able to see those figures, all of us? Are we able to see those figures, all of us? Is there anybody who is not able to see? Yes, great, great, great. Now, once we reach there, then let's compute the branches and PVs. We start with branch number 1. So remember, for branch number 1, you follow these as if you are on the road with a Subaru. Subaru drivers are so good and very accurate, fast and very accurate, right? So you travel it along this all the way to the origin. Forgetting what here, somebody? Forgetting the probabilities. This is your road. All these are what here, like where you can stop a little bit and grab a can of beer if you wish, like that. When you're a Subaru driver, you must be a rough person, right? Yes. Whatever, great. So branch number 1, what do we have, somebody? So you can either decide to start for, it doesn't matter. So if this is the figure that I'm picking here, this is the figure that I'm picking here. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, we have got one more year. I was almost forgetting. This thing is for year 2. These figures are coming to us in which year, somebody? These final figures here are coming to us in which year? The board is not stable in year 3. In year 3. I was almost forgetting that this is coming to us. So it's supposed to be PV 11% year 3. PV 11% year 3. PV 11% year 3. All right. So nasema it is 0. What here, somebody? 0.75. Please remind me. 312. 312. Thank you very much. So could we kindly start with branch number 1? So branch number 1, I'll pick the first figure here, which is 3,500. So 3,500, I need to discount this. So I should multiply this 3,500 with what discounting factor? 0.7513. Plus, I'm following this as a Subaru man. Are you able to see this negative 1,000? They're telling me this figure is not correct. They're telling me that this figure is not correct. They're telling me that this figure is not correct. Are you sure of that? 7312. 7312. Supposed to be 7312. 7312. Thank you very much for that. 7312. 7312. Yeah, 37312. Plus my Subaru driving skills, they are taking me to this next cash flow, which is minus 1,000. So minus 1,000 times what? This was coming to us at the end of year 2. End of year 2 is 0.81. 8116. Plus my Subaru driving skills. Here, I come here. I can see in this case here a minus 500. A minus 500. And this is being discounted at the end of year 1, which is 0.9009. My Subaru driving skills, I'm only picking cash flows. Remember, as I compute NPVs, I'll always ignore probabilities. When I compute net present values, always at first ignore all, close your eyes to whichever probability you're seeing there. So you're driving slowly. I've been able to pick this. I've been able to pick this. This is not a cash flow, so I'm running away from it. Minus what here? Minus 100. Let me ask you a question. Am I going to discount? Am I going to discount this 100? Am I going to discount this 100? No. It's being in a card today. It's being in a card today. It's being in a card today. Thank you so much. It's being in a card today. It's being in a card today. So I think my board has an issue. Some of the board is not clear. So first of all, could you kindly give me this answer? Is there somebody who is able to see my board? Are you able to see my board really? Are you able to see my board? Are you able to see my board very well? Then the problem could be your internet, my bosses. These students who are saying no. Let me just try to enhance it a little bit. Great, there we are. Better now, great. Thank you so much. Please always try to assist your colleagues here. Your colleagues here, whenever they ask questions, try as much as possible. Like now, Rebecca, my friend, which discounting rate are we using? Somebody should have really answered her. Take your time to always answer your colleagues. Trust you me, you guys are lucky because your classmates here are going to be a president in the future. So you should be able to have a story to talk about with that person during that time. Tell that person, you know, when you are in class, you are not even getting these things very well. I'm the one who used to tell you what discounting rate was being used. Then they'll tell you, you guy, you are good. You can become governor of central bank, right? It's kind of networking, you know. The firm's opportunity cost of capital is 11%. Great. So I hope, Rebecca, you've seen that. So what figure are we getting here, ladies and gentlemen, very fast? What figure are we getting here very fast? What figure are we getting here for branch number 1? 831.55. Thank you very much. 831.55. So go to branch number 2. Shem is giving me 1197 0.15, Rebecca, or rather, the person who gave me this, you never did proper multiplication. It's 1197. It's 1197. It's 1197.15. Thank you very much. 0.15. So please go to the second branch. That's branch number 1. Go to branch number 2 now. Go to branch number 2. Let's see what you'll get for branch number 2. You Subaru guy. Branch 1, Mayom, I'm not able to get your language today, Mayom. I'm not able to get your language today. Totally, I don't know why. Or is there anybody who is able to understand what Mayom is asking? We assist him. The branch 1, how are we moving with branch 1? Branch 1 is like this. It's a road, basically, where you start from heavens, what we call Matwine, all the way to hell. You know, when you are moving with speed, chances are you may easily go to hell. So you're moving from Matwine, which is a German word for heavens. So you move like that. And when you are on the road, what are you doing? You are picking cash flows alone. Don't pick probabilities. So the first cash flow is 3,500 coming to us at the end of year 3. So you take 3,500 times 0.73, 12, discounting factor. Plus the second cash flow as I move is 1,000, which is an outflow. So 1,000 times the discounting factor for year 2. Plus I'm still moving very fast, 500 negative, right? Which is a negative. Times this. I continue with my journey. Then I'm seeing this minus 100 being the last one, which can never be discounted. So Mary up here is giving me a figure of 465.95. And I want to make an assumption that all of us are able to get this figure. Is that true? Are we able to get all of us this figure? All of us, are we able to get this figure? All of us, are we able to get this figure? Charity is saying Mwalimu, no. Charity is saying Mwalimu, no. Charity is saying Mwalimu, no. Mwalimu, no. Let me try it. Remember, I'm a Subaru person. What am I doing? It is the road. Somebody told me some time back that, Mwalimu, you know what? If you're a Subaru man, you can reach here and then you do what? You jump. You jump to hell very fast, right? Right? So we have here minus 2,500. So not minus, plus 2,500 times the discounting factor, 0.7312. Plus, I'm moving here, I can see on my road, there is this minus 1,000 times 0.8116 plus, continue with my journey, picking only cash flows alone, minus 500 times the discounting factor. I'm continuing with my journey, boom, until I see this minus 100. So minus 100 is a present, is a today's cash flow. We don't discount it. We don't discount this really. We don't discount this really. We don't discount this. Discount cost. So what are we getting there, somebody? What are we getting here, somebody? What are we getting here, somebody, for branch number 2? For branch number 2, second tree neighborhood, we are moving like this. So we have 2,500 times this plus minus 1,000 times the discounting factor plus minus 500 times the discounting factor plus, it's a road, minus 100. 465.95. 465.95. Could you kindly now go to branch number 3? Go to branch number 3 and give us a figure. The third branch, I'm being given a figure of 225.81 minus 225.81. Is there somebody else who is able to get that figure? Minus 225.81, minus 225.81. Is there someone else who is able to get this figure, minus 225.81? Yes, I can see so many of them are getting this figure. I can see so many of them are getting this figure. Lucy is not getting. How did you reach that? So for branch number 3, where is branch number 3? It is here. Branch number 3, I can see the first figure is 400, whose discounting factor is up here for year 2. For year 2. So branch number 3, we have 400. Branch now, it's positive, remember, 400 times the discounting there, which is 0.8116, plus, so long as you see yourself as a Subaru person, yeah, this is the road. Yeah, like that. You'll be able to see, if this is the road, you'll be able to see your cash flows, 3 of them. I have this, I have this, I have this. So this is 400 discounted plus minus 500 discounted. So when I discount this, I'll multiply this with 0.900 what here? 9 plus, I continue with my journey. The next cash flow is minus 100. Minus 100. This is what they did to get this figure, I suppose. This is what they did to get this figure, I suppose. And then you go to branch number 4. Branch number 4, branch number 4, branch number 4. What do we have in branch number 4? What do we have in branch number 4? What do we have in branch number 4? Branch number 4. So branch number 4 is no cash flow there, 0, minus 100. So branch number 4 is minus 100. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Yes, Asiet, do you want me to unmute you so that you could ask a question? The floor is yours now.
Okay, I was asking, I got lost somehow from the area of favorable and unfavorable. And my question was about how do we reach to this test? There is a test of 0.9 and tests around 0.1.
Okay. You know,
yes.
These are given in the question. If, for example, you're told here, if you mold, what they have told us here is if you mold. Look at this. They've told us here, the next phase, if undertaken, would consist of making the molds and producing 10 prototype products at a cost of 500,000 at the end of the first year. If the products here test well, if they test well, the company would go into full-scale production. If they do not, the molds and prototypes will be sold at 400. The manager estimates that there is a 90% probability that the product will pass test and the phase 3 will be undertaken. So meaning, ladies and gentlemen, that here, if we make the molds, right, there are 2 possibilities. That we would either pass the test, that is testing well, with 90% probability, or we fail. With what probability? 10%, because you know 0.9 and 0.1 will always add up to 1. So when I know one of them is 90%, the other one must be 10%. The same case with this. If we go into full-scale production and the economy favors us, we're going to get 3,500. If the economy doesn't favor us, we're going to get 2,500. The probability of a favorable economy has been given as 0.5. They are equally likely. They're equally likely. Equally likely. They've told us here that the probability, if the economic conditions are favorable at this juncture, the net value of the firm's cash flows are estimated to be 3.5. While if the economic conditions are unfavorable, the net cash inflows are estimated at 2.5 million. Both net cash flows are expected at the end of year 3, and the 2 states of economy are equally likely. The firm's opportunity cost of capital is, look at this, equally likely. So I hope that helps. And again, this video is all yours immediately after this class. Right?
Thank you, sir.
Great.
Thank you.
Great. So we have, ladies and gentlemen, our branches there. If we could just summarize this thing very fast. No, I don't want to rub like this. I want to come back here and summarize them. So we have our branches, branch 1, branch 2, branch 3, branch 4. We have our net present value. Net present value here is 1197.5. We have for branch number 2 was coming to 465.95. Branch number 3 is minus 225.81. Branch number 4 is minus 100. The second step here will be the one where you come and give us the joint probabilities. So come here and give us the joint probes. So the joint probabilities, you know, joint means joining, putting together. Again, you dive like a Subaru driver from going through various routes. Route number 1 all the way to the source. Route number 1 all the way to the source here. Are you able to see the probabilities in between in route number 1, and then you multiply them? We join them. Joint probability means an and probability. You are multiplying to get the resultant joint probability. So like now for road number 1, I can see 0.5. I can see 0.9. I can see 0.8. So for road number 1, the probabilities here will be 0.8 times 0.9 times 0.5. Is there somebody who can give me the answer here for joint probability for the first road? Liz tells me this is 0.36. Liz tells me this is 0.36. Is that true? Liz tells me this is 0.36. Thank you very much. How about branch number 2? How about branch number 2? Try yourself. Try yourself. Branch number 2, I can see 0.5, 0.9, 0.8. Branch number 2, I can see 0.5, 0.9, and then we have the last one, which is 0.8. Remember, it's all about effective proper driving. We have this is route number 2. Aha. Hii itaki ule mwanafunzi mwenyewe kucheza ile mchezo ya watoto. Kama uko unaendesha mogara ukiwa mdogo, haukufanya vitu kama hii. Sasa haujui. So nikwambia game kidogo, cheza game kidogo tu. Utoe hii uweke kwa source hapa, unashindwa. Unaanza kurukaruka unasema hapa. Hii kitu ni barabara unafuata. As you pick what your probabilities. Like now the first probability 0.9, 0.5, 0.9, 0.8, which gives me what figure somebody here? The same. They're telling me the same. 0.36. Great. Karen is getting 0.08. I don't know where Karen is getting 0.08 from, but Karen, you're still doing a beautiful thing. You are on the dance floor. You are on the dance floor. You're dancing, right? So could you kindly go, in this case here, to branch number 3? Branch number 3, is there somebody who can see branch number 3 very well? Is there somebody who can see branch number 3 very well? Is there somebody who can see branch number 3 very well? So for branch number 3, this is what I'm seeing, 0.1 and 0.8, which will give us 0.08. How about branch number 4? Branch number 4, ladies and gentlemen, branch number 4, I can see only one probability, which is 0.2. And that being the last probability, when I add my total probabilities, the concept of mutually exhaustiveness has to apply. When you add, you must get a total of what here, somebody? When you add, you must get a total of 1. But you see, in an exam, you should never, ever try to confirm figures. In an exam, never try. What if you try to confirm in an exam whether they're adding up to 1 and then you realize they're not adding up to 1? What will you do? And you don't have time to go back and correct. In an exam, given a timed exam like CASNEB exams, ladies and gentlemen, we don't want to be testing. That one, in this case, is to finish a question in 36 minutes. We jump onto another question, yes. We don't want heartbreaks. Should I call them heartbreaks in an exam? Should I call them heartbreaks in an exam, which is the best name to give to such kind of a disappointment? But fortunately here it is 1. Here it is 1. Ladies and gentlemen, please look at the question. It's a heart attack or a shark attack. Ladies and gentlemen, they wanted us to construct a decision tree to depict payoffs that we have done and hence determine the expected net present value of the project. So expected net present value of the project is what that good lady started by telling us up there. Ta-ta. So now you have the NPVs and you have the joint probabilities. So come and give me, this is your X and this is your probability. Give me XP, multiply the 2. So you take this figure times this figure. You give me a figure to write there very fast. Give me a figure to write here very first. Give me a figure to write here very first. So we have here this times this, giving me what figure here? Somebody. We have 430.97. 430.97, 2 decimal places. 430.97, 2 decimal places. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Then we have Sue, Jabir, 167.70. 167.70. 167.7. Mary Apia, 167.74. 167.74. And then we go to note 3. Branch 3. Branch 3, what do we have there? Branch 3, what do we have there? Negative 18.07. So we have here negative 18.07. Branch 4, the last one, branch 4. Branch 4 gives me negative what here? Negative, is it negative 20? Negative 20. So then could you kindly come and add here for you to be able to give us what we call expected net present value. Expected net present value. What do we have here, somebody? I'm being told that there is a branch which is wrong. I'm being told that there's a branch which is wrong. I'm being told there's a branch which is wrong. Is there any branch that you guys are having, we are having, or rather you guys, or number one is wrong? Jamie, number one was given to me by very many students. Trust you me. That one has to be correct. Others in this case, they can be wrong, but not number one. Not number one. But you see, if you got 431, 431.1 is pretty similar to this, my brother, my sister. 431.1, Mary Mutungo should not fight. We are children of the same mother. Right. So then the expected net present value somebody is giving me, the last figure here, expected net present value. Somebody, what figure are we getting here? 560.65. Tell us there that this project is viable. This project is viable. Have you said that? This project is viable. 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 Because I'm comparing the expected net present value of this and the other one, which was what here? 0. If it was negative, then I would have said that this project is very bad. I would not recommend it. I would not recommend it. Ladies and gentlemen, given how bright you are, could you kindly talk to me and be very honest with me? Be very honest with me. How many marks would have you gotten out of the 6 marks in this question? How many marks would have you gotten? How many marks would have you gotten? How many marks would have you gotten? We shall overcome. Let's look at number 2. Number 2, they want us to give them the project's expected standard deviation and the coefficient of what year variation. Now, those are now 5 free marks, but unfortunately, if you don't get this diagram and every other thing correct, so even the expected net present value cannot be correct. So let's now calculate the not net present value. The expected standard deviation cannot be correct. But fortunately, my students know the formula. They know, ladies and gentlemen, they know the formula. They'll tell you standard deviation. First of all, you write it nicely like this. And then we know standard deviation is x minus who? The general formula is x minus x bar. It's a difference. It's a difference between the actuals and expected average. So then these, they are normally many. You have to square. You must multiply with probabilities to average. And then at the end of the day, you must come and do what here? You sum, because there are many deviations. It can't end there. We must come and do what here, somebody? We must come and put a square root to get standard deviation. Now, this is a general formula. So then when they tell me to come and give them standard deviation of NPV, I'll come and put a bracket like that. I'm now copying everything. So this one here will be NPV minus expected. NPV square times probability. Please let me know whether you guys have been able to write down this formula nicely. Let me know whether you guys have been able to write down this formula nicely. Let me know whether you guys have been able to write down this formula nicely. Have you been able to write down this formula nicely? Yes, great. Thank you so much. So then come and create a column here of NPV minus expected NPV squared times probability. Create a column like that. So we start with the NPVs. They are here. I'm simply copying them down. These NPVs are here, 1197.5, 465.95, hapa tuko na minus 225.81, hapa tuko na minus 100. Sasa hapa ndio abracadabra. Kama sasa shetani anakuchukia. Kama shetani anakuchukia, na shetani anachukia binadamu sana, by the way. Anachukia binadamu sana. Utapata mwanafunzi ukimuuliza hapa minus expected NPV, anaanza kukopi hii figure anaweka hii hapa. Anakuja anachukua hii anaweka. Anasahau kwamba expected net present value is supposed to be only 1. And as per this thing, it's supposed to be uniform throughout, supposed to be applicable throughout. So expected net present value is this single figure here. We cannot have many means. So this one is supposed to be 560.65. I'll have to square times the probability. 560.65 will be applicable all through, like that. You square, times now probabilities, like that. And the probabilities have been given. You remember the joint probability, these ones here. The 0.36, 0.36, 0.36, 0.08, 0.2, like that. So now give me the figures on the other side of the coin. Na pia shetani akikuchukia anakuonyesha atiweka square root kila mahali. Unajua shetani mbaya. You need to really curse that creature. Ukimuuliza mbona unaweka square root kila mahali, it's because of this square. He's really forgetting that there is a summation. There is a summation here. So first of all, you have to get each one individually, and then you give us the total. Ashindwe sana, you give us the total. You give us that. So for lack of space here, I'm going to copy mine here. For lack of space, I'm going to copy mine here. I'm going to put mine here. So in this case here, come and give us this, right? So I have from Sue 145,847. Sue never cheats me. 145,847. Is that correct? Can somebody in this case here confirm? Is that correct? 145. Yes. How about the second one? Please remember to square. You say open bracket 465.95 minus 560.65 squared times 0.36. Could you kindly give me a whole number? I would have wanted to write the decimals, but because of time, please give me a whole number here. Give me a whole number. The second one, people are not talking to me. 8968. Go to the third one. Silvanus says that the first one is supposed to be 146. Silvanus says that the first one. Okay, we start from the first one. Is the first one correct? 146,008. So it means that today, for the first time, Sue has cheated me. No worries. So 140. The second one is 3228. How about the first one? 145,847. Let's not fight. 145. Let's not fight. Let's just work with whatever figure that you have there. 145. Those are rounding off errors, because I'm aware some of you never used 560.65 there. Yeah, those are rounding off errors. We are children of the same mother. Let's not fight. Let's go to the third one. The third one is 145,840. No. You guys are confusing me now, Charity. We are not in the first one now. Now we are on the third one. You write whatever figure that you have there. As your calculator is cheating you, put that figure down. Work with your figure. 49,482. 49,482. 49,482. 49,482. 49,482. 49,482. 49,482. And then now you come and give me the last one. You say open brackets minus 100 minus this close squared times 0.2. What are we getting? 87,292. 87,292. Now I want to believe that these figures are quite close to whatever figures that you guys have, aren't they? They may not be exact, but I believe that you'll give me permission to work with them, not unless there is one that is materially misstated. Is there anyone that is materially misstated? They are very correct. Thank you very much. So please, as per the formula, could you kindly give me the summation? 285,851. 285,851. This great lady also cannot cheat me. Thank you very much. So this is the total, what we call the variance, and therefore the standard deviation of the NPV will be the square root of that figure, 285,851. which gives us what approximately here, somebody? Which gives us, my own, I'm not changing these figures. These figures were given to me and students have confirmed. 286, the last one. The last one. The last one. I don't want to, 286 and 285 is quite close, right? The difference basically is being brought about because of what you're rounding off, which at the end of the day, we shall be able to scale down considerably. Those errors will not be there. The difference will not be too much. So you'll see like the final figure, regardless of what you took, you guys will be coming to something close to what here, somebody? 535. You guys will be coming to something close like this 535 or 534, one and the same thing, one and the same thing. So can I go to something different? 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 Great. So at least standard deviation, you guys are comfortable with standard deviation. You guys are very comfortable with standard deviation. Now from there, ladies and gentlemen, I go to Roman 3. So no, still we have coefficient of variation in Roman 2. So can somebody in this case here give me the formula of getting coefficient of variation? Coefficient of variation. Coefficient of variation. Is there anybody who is able to remember the formula of CV? CV. Is there anybody who is able to remember the formula of CV? CV. Coefficient of variation. Coefficient of variation, CV. Yeah, I can see in this case, your students there who have a corrupted mind, or in this case, your students who are on the same line with Maslow's hierarchy of needs, where he told us physiological, a biological need, that sex is a physiological need. It's a basic need, right? I don't know what they mean. But for me, ladies and gentlemen, the CV that I'm talking about here is not that one. The one that I'm talking about here is the one of gender. Boy stroke girl. Boy stroke girl. CV is sex in percentage, like this. In percentage. In percentage. So I hope you guys will never forget this. Forget about everything else, but never forget about this. So this S stands for what here? Standard deviation, right? So standard deviation of our NPV over X bar is our expected net present value times 100. So this, you guys gave me 535 all over expected net present value. Ilikuwa inakuja ngapi? 506. Expected net present value ilikuwa inakuja ngapi? Ilikuwa inakuja ngapi? Ilikuwa inakuja ngapi? Caroline is saying, she's saying that I'm the one who taught them like that. I doubt. 560, but we shall discuss that later. Who taught you to use those things? 560, 560.35. So times 100, what are we getting, ladies and gentlemen, here? Thank you. 0.65, I'm being reminded there. 0.65, I'm being reminded there. So Sasier tells me 0.95 or 95%. Quite huge, huge. It's quite a high risky project, but depends on the comparator. What are they comparing this against? Let's see here. So when you look at Roman 3, assuming the firm's average project had a CV of between 1 and 2, perhaps could have been 1.5. Explain whether the project would have been of a high, low, or average risk. Ah, great. Now, ladies and gentlemen, remember here they are giving us average, the average, they are giving us the average, they are giving us the average, they are giving us the average CV. They are telling us that if the CV falls in between here, then we talk of what here? We talk of a medium risk. The risk will be average. But in this case here, look at the one that you have obtained here, 0.95. 0.95 is less than 1. Meaning that our project, regardless of the fact that 95% is so high, but given what they have told us, 0.95 is on the left of 1. Meaning that our project is a project which is what here, somebody, which is low risk. Our project is a project that is what here, that is low risk. Is a project that is low risk. Is that okay? Is that okay? Great, 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 great. So please, I'm so sure so many students are not with me here today. They'll be watching this either through YouTube or through Vimeo. And ensure that when you watch those videos through Vimeo or YouTube, you are able to leave a comment behind. You must like my videos. How do I get to know you guys are appreciating the work that I'm doing? You must like them.